In this video, I'm going to be going over the algorithm for rounding whole numbers. And I am going to use this flow chart that you see on the screen in order to go through the algorithm. So let's begin with a three-digit number. Let's take 347. And we're going to round this number to the nearest tens place or to the nearest 10. Okay, the first step, mark the place you are rounding with a dot. So since we're rounding to the tens place, the digit 4 is in the tens place, so we're going to put a dot above it. Now we'll follow the flow of the arrow to go to the next step. Look at the digit in the place directly to the right of the place you are rounding. Underline this number, or actually underline this digit. So to the right is the 7, so we're going to underline the 7. Now the next step is actually a question. Is this digit, meaning the underlined digit, is the underlined digit less than 5? Well, since the digit is a 7, it is not less than 5. The answer is no. So we're going to go to the no side, or the no arrow of the flow chart. If no, then round the digit you marked with the dot up by 1. This means you add 1 to that digit. So the digit I marked with the dot is a 4. So that would mean the 4 now becomes a 5. So the next step, follow the arrow down. All digits behind or to the right of the digit you marked with the dot turn to zeros. So all of the digits to the right or behind it turn to zeros. Well, there's one digit, so I need 1 0. And the last step, all other digits stay the same. So the 3 will stay the same. So 347 rounded to the nearest tens place would be rounded to 350. Let's look at another number. This time let's take a 4-digit number, because this process or algorithm works no matter how large your whole number is. Let's take 5,132, and we're going to round this time to the nearest hundreds place or to the nearest 100. First step, mark the place you're rounding with the dot. The 1 is in the hundreds place, so I'm going to mark it with a dot. Next step, underline the digit to the right, directly to the right, so the 3 will be underlined. Now the question, is the underlined digit less than 5? Well, this time the underlined digit is less than 5, so the answer is yes, so I'm going to go to the yes side of the flow chart. If yes, then the digit you marked with the dot will stay the same. So the digit I marked with the dot, which is a 1, will stay the same. Next step, all digits behind or to the right of the digit you marked with the dot turn to zeros. Well, now there are 2 places to the right, so I need 2 zeros. All other digits stay the same, so the 5 will stay the same. So 5,132 rounded to the nearest hundreds place rounds to 5,100. Now, there's a little saying that a lot of times will help you when you are deciding if the underlined digit, or not the underlined digit, but if the digit you marked with the dot, if you need to raise the score or it stays the same. And I have included that right here. I've typed it in. And really what this covers, and I'm going to highlight the steps it covers, it really covers all of these steps right here. And I'm just going to highlight it like this. Okay, so here's another way that we could use this little saying, 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, raise its score. Now the underline, the 4 or less, meaning if the underlying digit is a 4 or less, you would let it, the digit you marked with the dot or the place you're rounding to, let it rest. That means it's going to stay the same. If the underlying digit, though, is a 5 or more, you're going to raise its, meaning the place you're rounding to, raise its score, which means you're going to add 1 to that digit. So let's take an even larger digit. Let's do a 5-digit number. 56,783. This time let's round this one to the nearest thousand. First step, mark the place you're rounding with the dot. The 6 is in the thousands place. Look at the digit to the right and underline it. Now I'm just paraphrasing here. Now, this is where we're going to use our little saying. So for the underlying digit, if it's a 4 or less, let it, the dotted one, rest. But it's not 4 or less. It is 5 or more, so you are going to raise its, the dotted one, score. So the 6 becomes a 7. Next step, all digits behind the one you marked turn to zeros or to the right. So I have 3 digits that have to be replaced with zeros, and all other digits stay the same, so the 5 will stay the same. So 56,783 would be rounded to 57,000. Now there is one other situation that is just a little bit different on rounding numbers, and that is if 9s are involved in the number. So I'm going to pick a number that has several 9s as the digits. So let's say you have 179,999. And you want to round this number to the nearest 10 or the nearest tens place. So, mark the place you're rounding with the dot. So this 9 is in the tens place. Next step, look at the digit to the right and underline it. Now, the underlined digit, since it is a 5 or more, we're going to raise its, the dotted one, score. But here's the problem. When you add when you add a 1 to 9, you get a 2-digit number of 10. You cannot put 2 digits into one column. So what you would do is, just like in addition, you would put down the 0, carry the 1 to the next column to the left. The moment you carry, you have to go ahead and add. So 9 plus 1 is 10. Put down the 0, carry the 1, you immediately add. 9 plus 1 is 10. Put down the 0, carry the 1, you immediately add. 7 plus 1 is 8. Now, I didn't have to carry again, so I can stop right there. And then I continue my flow chart. All digits behind or to the right of the digit you marked with the dot turn to zeros. So I have one digit, it turns to zeros, or a 0, and all other digits stay the same, so the 1 stays the same. So 179,999 rounded to the nearest tens place would round to 180,000. Hopefully this flow chart for rounding whole numbers will help you, and it will make rounding whole numbers just a little bit easier. Also, don't forget our saying, 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, raise its score.